All right, so we are now moving into angles, which is basically when we have lines, points, rays, and line segments put together and they create some type of angle. And you guys have been doing this forever since you've been using rulers, but you've only been working with a straight angle, one that goes back and forth, or a straight line. But now we're going to work with a little bit more. And you guys might hear degrees a lot. And when we say that, that's because when you measure angles, you use a protractor to figure out what degrees it would be. So, for example, when we work with the right angle, it's 90 degrees. So, you would place the bottom edge along the edge of the protractor, and then the line would perfectly hit 90 degrees. Anything less than that, between here and the 90 degrees, would be acute. Anything greater than that, on this side of the right angle, would be obtuse. And then, of course, a perfect one that goes from 0 to 180 would be a straight angle. So let's look at that a little bit deeper. Now, we are not doing circles this year. That is a sixth grade topic that we'll be working on. But a circle is 360 degrees. It goes all the way around. And that basically makes up two straight angles. If you guys have ever tried this, 180 plus 180 equals 360. So it's two straight angles put together to make a full circle. And you guys don't need to worry about this reflex angle or the full 360 degree angle. The only ones we're looking at are straight, obtuse, right, and acute. But I just wanted to show you kind of how these work. So an acute angle is anything less than 90 degrees. The little trick that I always do to make sure that it is an acute angle is I draw a straight line to make a 90-degree angle. Now, if it is anything less than that straight line, then it will be acute. That's a good way to check your work. Now this one, if you don't know it's a right angle, draw a square. If that square is perfect, then it should be a right angle. Now an obtuse angle is anything larger than this. So again, the same trick with the acute. Make it a right angle. If it's greater than that, then it's going to be obtuse. If it's less, it's acute. If it's the same, then it's right. And then a straight angle is easy. Now, these look very, very simple, but sometimes you might get an angle that is a little bit trickier. Like, what if I had an angle that might look like this, and then it's a tiny bit bigger? That's pretty close to a straight angle, but it is actually obtuse, because it is not a full 180 degrees. Same with an acute angle. You could have an acute angle that is barely, like right there, barely smaller than a right angle. So make sure you're really paying attention to stuff like that. So let's get into this. A right angle, perfect 90 degrees. Now you see these all over. Engineers, any type of construction workers, any type of workers who use building or just objects in general, people like 90-degree angles. They are basically a perfect square. So your stairs are 90-degree angles. The way that this wood was built is a 90-degree angle right there. All of these window panes, there are millions of 90-degree angles in this one picture. They're all over the place. The railroad tracks are 90-degree angles. And roads are 90-degree angles. Now, your job is to find a 90-degree angle in your house or around outside and send a video of it on Dojo. Now, let's look at acute. So, they did the same trick that I showed you. We have this angle. We don't know if it is obtuse, acute, or right. So what they did is they drew their 90-degree angle and showed that it is actually smaller than that. So that would make this acute. And an acute is anything from 1 degree to 89 degrees. So that's if you would measure it with a protractor, which unfortunately I cannot show you on here, but if your parents know how, they can show you how to use a protractor. So let's check out this piece of pizza. All right, they already drew your angle, but let's just make sure. If I was going to draw and make it a right angle, it would be about there. All right, now this is less than this. If you had a full big piece of pizza like that, that would be a right angle. Now let's look at this cone. So we know it starts here. There would be my bottom line. This right here is my vertex or my vertice, the point where the two lines connect. If I drew a line like that, that would make it a right angle, but that it would be a giant ice cream cone. Okay, so right here would be my angle, which would make it acute. Obtuse angles, they did the exact same thing. Okay, so an obtuse angle is the same thing. You have your bottom line, and then you draw your 90-degree angle and check. Is it the same? Is it less or is it greater? And this circumstance would be greater. So anything from 91 degrees to 179 degrees would be obtuse. Anything between a right angle and a straight angle would be obtuse. So you see obtuse angles everywhere also. If you opened a book, you could open a book as an acute angle. You can open it right, but when you want to actually read it, it would be obtuse. Because from here to here would be a right angle, and it is larger than that, so it would be obtuse. Same with this chair. It is opened at an obtuse angle. It can open at a smaller angle. For instance, right down here, this is an acute angle, where this is an obtuse angle. And then down here is a right angle. So kind of cool. They're all over the place. And last but not least, a straight angle. Straight angles are literally everywhere. If it is 6 o'clock or if it is 12 o'clock, you will have a straight angle on your clock. It's 180 degrees from this side to this side. So if you had it on your protractor, this would be at 0, and this side would be at 180. Now, if you guys remember from Monday's math, you can have two straight angles. If they are side by side perfectly, that is a parallel line. So this is a straight, this is straight, this is straight, this is straight, this is straight, and every single line is parallel. This is straight, this is straight, that's parallel. And this line is parallel to these sets over there. So there are straight lines everywhere. And straight lines can connect perpendicular also and make right angles, just like that. But they count as both because they basically are everywhere. Your staircase, you should have a nice straight angle, and then you have the right angles there, but all of the stairs would also be straight angles. And yeah, this one should be very easy for you guys to find. So I'm excited for you guys to go out and show me what type of angles you guys can find.